Marvelous morning to all. How are you, students? I hope you all are fine and doing well. In this video section, we are going to learn 8th Standard English Unit 3 topic Sir Isaac Newton, the Ingenious Scientist continuation, Part 2. In our previous class, we have to learn Isaac Newton's water clock, sundial and windmill. In this class, we are going to learn Sir Isaac Newton's new inventions. Let's start the class. Isaac's playmates were enchanted with his new windmill. They thought that nothing so pretty and so wonderful had ever been seen in the whole world. What is that? Asked Isaac, for he supposed that from the roof of the mill to his foundation he had forgotten nothing. Now let's see the explanation. Isaac Newton's playmates always admired his toys, particularly windmills, but one of his friends said that he had forgotten something in the making of the windmill. Next, we move on to the another paragraph. Why, where is the miller? Said his friend. That is true. I must look out for one, said Isaac, and he set himself to consider how the deficiency should be supplied. He might easily have made the miniature figure of a man, but then it would not have been able to move about and perform the duties of a miller. But perhaps some two-legged millers are quite as dishonest as the small quadruped. As Isaac grew older, it was found that he had far more important matters in his mind than the manufacture of toys like the little windmill. All day long, if left to himself, he was either absorbed in thought or engaged in some book of mathematics or natural philosophy. At night, I think it probable he looked up with reverential curiosity to the stars and wondered whether they were worlds like our own, and how great was their distance from the earth, and what was the power that kept them in their course. Perhaps even so early in life, Isaac Newton felt a presentiment that he should be able hereafter to answer all these questions. When Isaac was 14 years old, his mother's second husband being now dead. Now let's see the explanation. When Isaac was sure that it lacked nothing, it lacked a miller. He could have made the miniature figure of a man. He could not opt. As Isaac grew older, his interest was in maths, philosophy, and stars. At night, he observed the stars. He himself asked questions about the world of stars, their distance, their orbits, hold, force, and so on. Next, we move on to the next paragraph. She wished her son leave school and assists her in managing the farm at Woolsthorpe. For a year or two, therefore, he tried to turn his attention to farming, but his mind was so bent on becoming a scholar that his mother sent him back to school and afterwards to the University of Cambridge. He was the first that found out the nature of light, for before his day nobody could tell what the sunshine was composed of until then. You remember, I suppose, the story of and apples falling on his head, which lead him to discover the force of gravitation and which keeps the heavenly bodies in their courses. When he had once got hold of his idea, he never permitted his mind to rest until he had searched out all the laws by which the planets are guided through the sky. This he did as thoroughly as if he had gone up among the stars and tracked them in their orbits. As a boy, he had found out the mechanism of a windmill, and as a man, he explained to his fellow men to the mechanism of the universe. Okay, students, now let's see the explanation. After 14 years, he helped his widow mother. He tried to turn his attention to farming, but his mind was bent to become a scholar. So his mother sent him to the University of Cambridge. Sir Isaac Newton was the first that found out of the nature of light. When an apple fell on his head, he discovered the force of gravitation. He never permitted his mind to rest until he had searched out all the laws by which the planets are guided through the sky. He tracked the orbits of the planets and the stars on the sky. Now let's see the next paragraph. While researching, he was accustomed to spend night after night in a lofty tower, gazing at the heavenly bodies through a landscape. His mind was lifted far above the things of his world. He may be said indeed to have spent the greater part of his life in worlds that lie thousands and millions of miles away. For where the thoughts and the heart are, there is our true existence. Newton lived to be a very old man, renowned thinker, and was made a member of parliament and received the honor of knighthood from the king. But he cared little for earthly fame and honor, and felt no pride in the vastness of his knowledge. All that he had learned only made him feel how little he knew in comparison to what remained to be known. Okay, students, now let's see the explanation. When he was doing researching, he spent all the nights on a tower gazing heavenly bodies through a telescope. His mind was above this world. He spent the most part of his life in worlds that lie thousands and millions of miles away. Newton to be old, he was a member of parliament and received the honor of knighthood from the king. But he was not proud of his earthly fame or knowledge. Next paragraph. I seemed to myself like a child, he observed, playing on the seashore and picking up here and there a curious shell or a pretty pebble, while the boundless ocean of truth lies undiscovered before me. At last, in 1727, when he was 85 years old, Sir Isaac Newton died, or rather he ceased to live on earth. We may be permitted to believe that he is still searching out the infinite wisdom and godness of the Creator as earnestly and with even more success than while his spirit animated a mortal body. Okay, children, now let's see the explanation. Sir Isaac Newton died in 1727 when he was 85 years old. We are believed that he is still searching out the infinite wisdom and goodness of the Creator and more. Next, he has left a fame behind him which will be as endurable as if his name were written in letters of light formed by the stars upon the midnight sky. I love to hear about mechanical contrivance such as the water clock and the little windmill, remarked George. I suppose if Sir Isaac Newton had only thought of it, he might have found out the steam engine and railroads and all the other famous inventions that have come into use since his day. Children, now let's see the explanation of this paragraph. Isaac Newton's name is written in letters of light formed by the stars in mid-sky. Next paragraph. Very possibly he might, replied Mr. Temple, and no doubt a great many people would think it more useful to manufacture steam engine than to search out the system of the universe. Other great astronomers besides Newton have been endowed with mechanical genius. There was David Rittenhouse, an American. He made a perfect little water mill when he was only 7 or 8 years old. But this sort of ingenuity is but a mere trifle in comparison with the other talent of such men. Now let's see the explanation about this paragraph. Mr. George and Mr. Temple remarks that if Isaac had lived longer, he would have found the all other invention of today too. Okay students, now let's see them. Section 2, glossary. Enchanted, delighted, miniature, very small model, curiosity, eagerness, accustomed, something familiar with, gazing, looking steadily and intently, seized, stopped. Again I read this glossary. Enchanted, delighted, miniature, very small model, curiosity, eagerness, accustomed, something familiar with, gazing, looking steadily and intently, seized, stopped. Okay children, now let's see the end of the lesson. In this video class, we are going to learn Sir Isaac Newton's inventions and his thoughts. Sir Isaac Newton was a multi-talented person. He was a mathematician, he was an astronomer, he was an inventor, he was a chemist, he was a physicist. Now let's see choose the correct antonym for the italicized word. His grandmother was very kind to him. Kind, cruel. The boy seemed to have a taste for mathematics. Taste, distaste. Isaac possessed a wonderful faculty of acquiring knowledge. Possessed, lacks. He was observed to be usually busy with his tools. Usually, rarely. Okay students, I hope you all are understand this video class. Thank you all and be safe. We will see the next class.